However, for the Straw Hats, Imu has just one-shotted both Zoro and Sanji. The wings of the new Pirate King were clipped clean off. And this entire chapter, Imu is just aura-mogging everyone using a new kind of power we have never seen before in One Piece called Maki or Omen. Yeah, not Haki. Imu has Heavenly Restriction and even Gojo's hollow purple hand signs. This dude is unstoppable. However, Oda is not done feeding us this week because we have another hint towards Enel's comeback in the Moon Arc. It is happening, bro. It is definitely happening. Either way, Imu wastes no time as he leaps straight to West Village, where we get an even better look at Imu's design. At first glance, it kind of reminded me of August, the strongest wizard from Fairy Tail. Oda never just draws things for no reason, so he has put a lot of thought into Imu's looks, especially with those dots all over his body, which might help us answer some pressing questions about Imu's powers and what they actually are. Because putting white dots all over your body is a way to connect yourself to the spiritual realm in many animist religions, especially prevalent in West Africa and Aboriginal peoples of Australia, where this is a tradition practiced by the Hausa people of Nigeria or Niger. At its core, it's a form of spirit possession. Basically, these dots act as a beacon to invite the Ishkoki or ancient spirits into your physical body. They are also divided into two conceptual factions, white spirits and black spirits, which is exactly similar to the division between the spirit of Nika inside Luffy and the spirit of the devil in Imu. We already have evidence that devil fruits, especially zone types, influence one's will and have a mind of their own since the Gorosei confirmed it. And just like how that works, the Bori people see these Ishkokis as riders who come to possess the vessel or the horse. So it could be that the white dots and the other markings all around Imu's body are there to signify that this is just a vessel for the Great One's spirit. Or maybe this is further evidence to our theory that Imu invited the devil into him and the devil took over and is now in control. While Nika is the ultimate expression of free spirit, which evaded the world government and chose its vessel after waiting 800 years until Luffy, a boy with the same free will as the fruit, was born. In contrast, Imu represents the dark reflection of animism, where a primordial spirit forced its possession over the host, Nerona Imu, one of the 20 kings. It subjugated not only the will of the entire world, but even broke its own horse. And now those white markings are a physical link for the devil into the abyss and the physical realm. However, there is something that's wrong with Imu's body, as we saw him coughing blood after leaving the Holy Land, and the Gorosei were shitting themselves at the thought of the Great One leaving Pangaea Castle, so he can't waste a single minute. The real goal for Imu here is to get rid of Nika and Nidhogg before they pose a bigger threat, making the prophecy of Dawn come true. So he instantly flies to Summers and starts healing him. Imu was so fast that Gerd didn't even realize that her fingers were chopped off. Everyone from Chopper to Zoro are baffled by this creature that has just shown up in front of them. Zoro wastes no time in getting his three sword style out, ready to face off against Imu-sama. As Zoro gets ready to fight though, Haruden and Stanson charge at Imu, but just like Gerd, before they even realize, Stanson's leg is chopped in half. Zoro thinks that Imu will get fodderized like the other Holy Knights, but just as he strikes Imu with his King of Hell Purgatory Onigiri attack, one of the strongest in Zoro's arsenal by the way, Imu just flicks it away with his tail like he is Aizen. Zoro got turned into a citizen of hell after this, but Imu isn't done yet, as he creates the Gyan Mudra hand sign like Gojo, and then from the palm of his hand, black flames erupt. This is called an Omen or Maki, which means the devil's fire or the devil's will. Zoro is stun locked next to it as the flame bursts into his face at a speed that completely smacks him away. Imu was likely aiming for Zoro's head, but luckily Zoro realized how dangerous this attack was and it only hit his shoulders. As Zoro flies away, Haruden is next, against whom Imu puts his other hand in the same Gyan Mudra stance and literally explodes the giant with Conqueror's Maki emanating from the blast. The Gyan Mudra is one of the most famous hand gestures in Hinduism or Buddhism and even in all of anime. In Eastern spiritual traditions, every finger represents something specific. The thumb is the supreme soul or the ultimate divine consciousness. The index finger represents the individual or the human soul. Normally, a monk makes the Gyan Mudra to seek enlightenment. Bringing the index finger to the thumb symbolizes the human soul perfectly uniting with a god. But we already established that Imu is the absolute dark reflection of the spiritual concept. So far, Imu making the Gyan Mudra isn't about holy enlightenment, as it represents the exact moment of possession he has of the world. The index finger, or the human host, Narona Imu, physically merged with the thumb, the supreme primordial devil of the first world. It is the visual symbol of the rider completely taking over the horse, and it gets even crazier when you look at how it connects to his Omen flames. In Ayurvedic medicine or the mudra practices, the fingers also represent the 5 elements. The thumb is Agni or fire, and the index finger is Vayu or air. Imu might be using the breath of things to feed the flames of oppression here. The remaining 3 fingers which stay open are the 3 guns: ego, illusion, and karma, the exact 3 concepts that Imu uses to rule over the One Piece world from the shadows. He forces the world into an illusion while feeding his own ego and decides the karma of the current era. Either way, these black flames are broken. Not only can they explode a giant point blank, but Imu creates a black fire circle which makes Summers heal instantly. He then orders Saint Jeffrey that there is no time to waste, bro. Stop fooling around. After getting a scolding from the Great One, Summers leaps to the right while Imu flies straight ahead. When Imu leaves, the houses that were turned into devilish creatures return back to normal. This reminded me of how Luffy in Gear 5 turns everything around him cartoony and goofy. With just like in Onigashima, even the people inside the Skull Dome had their eyes popping out like cartoons. Everything Luffy's haki touches in Gear 5 is affected by Nika's liberation. Similarly, everything touched by Imu's haki, or I guess Maki, are turned into devilish things. We learn from Chopper that Zoro isn't completely dead, as they both start gathering the injured and kids back to the houses, while Yarul declares to the entire island that someone even more powerful than the Holy Knights has appeared in Elbaf. We finally get to see Imu with his wings out, where it looks like his cloak may have turned into wings like that of the Lunarians. This could be an ability similar to how Luffy can create goggles or baseball bats out of thin air. Imu just has a better understanding of this ability, or these are just his wings he had kept hidden under his cloak. Another interesting detail about Imu from this angle are the eyes on the disc behind him. I believe they will number 16. Just like Doflamingo's 16 Heavenly Bullets attack. Right now though, Imu is focused on freeing Gunko from Ragnir's ice. Now, last chapter, Loki said that only Ragnir can melt the ice that he creates. But Imu uses the top of his glaive, puts Omen fire on it, and transforms it into what looks like Nami's climb attack, because from it, Imu shoots out Omen Demon Ball. This is literally like how Nami shoots out those cloud balls, right? Bro, is this another hint that Nami might be a Nerona? Let me know in the comments if you guys think Nami is a Nerona. This demon that Imu creates travels to Gunko's ice and completely explodes it, similar to Haruden. Imu doesn't even wait for Gunko to be freed as he blitzes past the fire. The time limit must be tiny by the looks of it. We then get a crazy upscale for Imu from Gaban himself, who says that he has never felt hockey like this before, not even in God Valley. This man has been around the craziest battles in pirate history, by the way. Roger versus Garp was probably a monthly spectacle he witnessed, yet Imu right now surpasses all of them. Back in the Walrus School, Luffy and Loki are busy munching on the food to fuel back up, especially since both of them can sense Imu's aura from miles away. They know what kind of battle they must fight now. Even Jinbei, who wasn't afraid of Big Mom's haki, is sweating, saying how dangerous everything feels. Just as they say this in the distance, Sanji comes face to face against Imu-sama himself. What is bro about to do? Get your ass out of there, bruh. Imu-sama wastes no time in freeing and healing Killing with his Omen fire, just as he did with Saint Jeff. Jinbei yells at Sanji to be careful, like, bro, you are not him, you are Faibanji, don't rush in. He does not listen to Jinbei at all, bro. Sanji just rushes the Great One, only to be stomped back to the ground and blown by another Omen fire. Look at bro's face. That is Sanji realizing he is Faibanji, the weakest warrior of science, Mr. Peasant. At least Zoro didn't get blown up, right? They both lost pretty badly, but at least Zoro is fit enough to help Chopper. Sanji's just a burnt wing. Okay. On a serious note, both Zoro and Sanji losing this easily to Imu-sama makes complete sense, because the Straw Hats are still not strong enough to face an enemy like them. This L will only serve to make the two stronger. We saw how easily Sanji and Zoro dealt with Imu's soldiers. The next step for Sanji in particular is likely to harness the same black flames like power which Imu showcases into his own kicks, finally becoming Blackleg Sanji. Imu did his absolute best to deal with all of the little distractions that might waste his time in Elbaf while he tries to destroy Nika and Nidhogg. After being fueled by Imu's Omen Circle, which has stayed with Saint Q and Summers, they might have gotten a power boost also. We are likely gonna see a rematch of Zoro and Sanji versus the Holy Knights. Now finally, Imu can savor the moment when he kills the Prophecy of the Dawn as he flies right in front of Prince Loki. He asks, what business does Imu have on Elbaf? To which the Great One replies that 14 years ago his servant Harold was killed and he has come to find the one responsible. All the emotions Loki has had buried within him come flowing out as he screams like hell he was. Harold was his father and the king of Elbaf. He is the one Imu is looking for, a clear declaration of war against the current ruler of the world. Imu replies that if Loki didn't exist, then the many tribulations which has caused suffering for the people of Elbaf could have been avoided. By controlling Harold 14 years ago, Imu had gained dominion over Elbaf, which he had sought for 800 years. But Loki foiled that plan, and he has been searching for Imu all this time to take revenge for his father. So next chapter, Oda will provide, cause look at this panel, bro. This is peak One Piece. I am getting goosebumps just thinking about it. It's possible that Loki will fight Imu alone for a bit and get dog-walked until Luffy joins the fight too. But after Imu uses a special power he hasn't used since the Heian era, both will get clapped. Only for my goat, Monkey Deadbeat Dragon, to show up and save the day, making Imu run away as he doesn't have enough time to deal with my goat's full power. Cause remember guys, Kuma is in Elbaf, and last time in the present One Piece story we saw Dragon was when Kuma flew from Kambaka Kingdom. So it's possible that Dragon and Sabo are chasing after Kuma, or Imu ordered orders Summer and Killingham to make preparations to destroy Elbaf, and the Straw Hats must escape to the Heaven Realm, which will propel them into the moon, because Oda dropped another hint this chapter within Imu himself. Look at this panel. Do you see that number? 460. Let's go to that chapter real quick. Editor, pull up chapter 460 real quick. Whoa, the first page is Enel in the moon after he defeated the space pirates, and the chapter is called Conquest Before the Dawn. Maybe Oda is telling us that Imu will destroy and conquer everything before Luffy descends from the half moon and brings the dawn. Either Dragon comes to Elbaf or they go to the moon. One of my theories are coming true. My stocks are at an all-time high. But we're making a dedicated video explaining all the religious themes and everything about Imu's design next week. Yusuf has been working on it this whole week, so look forward to that, guys, because I didn't even touch on all the Abrahamic references with Imu's design. I'm only covering the West African, the animism side of things, so look forward to that. And then I'm gonna make that moon theory video after I finish the Eastern Empire slime video. I've been cooking. That video is coming end of the month. I'll see you guys next week. Bye bye.